And I'm going to welcome everyone now.
Hello, welcome everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to Ghost Hostings 21. Thank you all for joining me for this Ghost Hostings. Thank you, Naum, for hosting. And I can see more people arriving and joining us here as we're all remote, far away from each other, yet all meeting in this plane together. I'm far away, but I feel very close. And today we're all going to make a ghost. Welcome everybody. It's my third and final workshop. Hello. I'm at my studio today, so I feel very at home here. I have my little ghost behind me here to keep me company. And I've got a little attic space behind me. So maybe something will appear. Keep watching, you never know. I want to believe. So I'm waiting to see what will happen. And this is our ghost hostings. All of you have been thinking about ghosts this week, and I hope that you have had a chance to make a ghost. And as I was explaining on Wednesday, your ghost can manifest in whatever way you feel is right. So the material of the ghost and the message of the ghost were the two things to think about. And over the Monday and Wednesday, we had a look at lots of different types of ghost making and the uses of ghosts across all kinds of cultures. Now I'm looking at who's here today, and I'm going to ask each of you in turn to present a ghost. But what I'm going to do is we're going to have a little exercise on how to do this, so that we can sort of do this kind of psychically and see who is going to go first and who's going to go second and who's going to go third. And I'm going to give each person just 2 minutes. I hope that's okay, so that you just have a short period of time and a ghost can have its voice in that time. You could be shorter than that. It could be an instantaneous and brief glimpse, but you could go up to 2 minutes. So I'm going to write down everyone's names. And I'm doing that now. And I just want to ask, is anyone working with somebody else, or wave your hand if you're working with someone else from the group, or if you're, no, so okay, everyone's doing their own presentation. Okay. Now I guess you're going to be watching. Cairo, are you watching or are you making a ghost for us?
I'm watching as well.
Okay. So we're good. We need witnesses. It's very important to have witnesses for when we have ghosts. Okay, so I'll just put the names of those people who are going to make a ghost today. So that's all our participants. So we have.
I'm also watching. I didn't have time to prepare a ghost.
Okay, Karen. Okay, so Karen is also going to be witnessing the ghosts. So you can tell us about the ghosts. You can ask some questions and give some feedback as well. Okay, so who is G? What's your name? Or can I just put you down as G? I'll put you as G. Okay. So let's just make sure I have everybody on this list. Okay. I'm giving everyone a number. So next to your names, I'm writing down a number. I'm not going to show you those numbers. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people. I think it's here. So we have who is just witnessing? Kayla is also just witnessing. Okay. Let me just check the chat and see who is going to be ghosting and who's witnessing. Okay, so yeah. Jessica. Okay, so I've written down numbers next to your names. We have. Okay, I'm going to come to Celeste and say, Celeste, I'd like you to think of a number between 1 and 7 and then put that number into chat. Think really hard. See what number comes to you. Any number between 1 and 7. 3. Okay. Okay, thank you. That's wonderful. So that means Irem. Irem? Hello, Irem.
Hi.
Hi. That's great to see you.
You too?
You're,
Sorry, I was eating something, so that's why my camera was off.
you're a hungry ghost.
Yes, I am. So what I'm gonna do is because actually before you, we did a small, I don't know if I can appropriate it. I didn't ask for permission, but we were asked to draw our own ghosts, and then we did collective mural. And I'm gonna use it if everybody's okay with it. I'm gonna use mine. And I'm gonna just show it and read a poem that I wrote, if it's okay. So this is my ghost. And here is the poem. Your body is a heaven home. It's full of fluffy clouds and sunshines. It transmits light. Even when the darkness stumbles upon it, you get blind by its luminous spots. Someone got scared of the darkness and left her body to the heaven light. Some naive called her God and admired her for her fear and her mischief. However, there are also those, the goddesses of discretion, that remain in their bodies. Some looking like deers, some others like tall big trees. They bring heaven and hell to earth. They are the same Amazons that the patriarch gods of Olympus didn't manage to slaughter. The sirens that drowned the boats of their pivot rapists and invaders of earth captains. The hysterical women that lied on the beds of the sexist German elite. At the same bed that they fell in love, they cast their spells that destroyed the narcissistic fathers. They cut their breasts. They tied themselves willingly to be whipped. They sold their souls to the only man that didn't give false promises to them. When they dance, don't take away your look. They sing prayers and spells. And if you look deep into their eyes, they might feed your weak senses with some of their magic. In this game, if you let them win, I promise to you, they will not let you lose. And this is it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. And when did you do the drawing of the ghost? What was that part of?
Help me, guys. Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was. I just asked when we were just chatting. I asked everyone to draw a ghost.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Your ghost, Irem, was like infinity. It's like the sort of infinite kind of, and the spiral as well is used a lot.
Yeah. This actually for me yeah, I'm a bit obsessed about this one. Both of my tattoos also have a similar spiral thing. I don't know if you can see this one and this one. So I don't know if like anyway. So this is this for me at least. How I interpret this is transformation. For me, this spiral represents transformation.
Wonderful. So is the spiral going out or going in? Is it expanding?
The way I drew it starting from inwards to outwards. But looking at it, I would say it's going deeper, like it's going inside.
Inside. Okay. Wonderful. That was really fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
I very much enjoyed that. And beautiful imagery that you conjured up in your words. So your words also made these ghosts that we all saw the images. That's the immaterial thing that manifested through how you conveyed your ideas. And Iram, now it's your turn to think of a number between 1 and 7 and really concentrate and think, see that number and write it into chat. Number 5. Number 5 is Chloe.
Hey. I have here a SoundCloud link to a short sound piece, so everyone can listen. Maybe everyone should make sure they're on mute because otherwise it gets crazy.
Better do that.
Yeah. I think, Sarah, you're on mute. I don't know if you said something.
Hello, I'm much slower than everyone else. It took me a while to get the SoundCloud to work.
Oh, sorry.
So I was just getting to the conclusion of that. That was very atmospheric. It was quite, listening to it in my studio, I have noises of trains going by outside. So the whole kind of thing was melded together. It was rather wonderful. And I wondered how you made the different noises in the sound piece.
I was on a ferry and I recorded, there's like 3 different layers. One of them is just the kind of drone sound of the ferry moving. And then one of the scratching sound is me playing with a bottle lid from my beer on the table. And then the other sound, there's some rattling, and that was when the ferry was coming into the dock and the metal vents were rattling. So I just recorded them individually and put them together.
And where was that? Because it's interesting because the trains were going by and your sounds did sound like a journey to me, because I was hearing the train sounds outside my studio and your soundtrack inside as well. So there was definitely a feeling of a journey. And then leading on from Iram's as well, which was a kind of an odyssey, and there was this feeling of journey and transformation too. So that was really nice to have those 2 pieces together, one
Yeah.
after the other, the connections I saw with those.
Yeah, I think also, I mean, for mine, the ferry was really such a kind of in-between place, because everybody, it was like kind of similar to an airplane in a way, that everyone was just like waiting to get to the destination, and with this droning hum for the whole 6 hours. I don't know, this kind of in-between space also really reminded me of what you were saying about the ghost as being a metaphor to talk about that if there is an in-between space between life and death. So yeah, that like this kind of space reminded me of it. And then with the sounds, I was thinking like about the qualities of a ghost, like visually, and seeing if I could kind of translate them into sound. So I kind of did wanted to do like a stereotypical kind of creepy ghost, but then also have this kind of, I don't know, kind of in-betweenness about it. So that's why I recorded the ferry.
Like a kind of limbo space or a liminal space, because water is seen as a liminal space. So you often have ghost sightings, you know, where there's a water or a body of water, but it's a kind of medium that's also we wouldn't survive with it in a watery surface. You know, it can transport us, but it's a sort of fluid and moving, a bit like the idea of the fluidium as well. And it's often kind of used as that metaphorically, as this idea of taking a ferry to the afterlife as well with the ferry boat. That's lovely. Thank you, Chloe. These are great. And I wanted just to say to everybody, ask questions. Okay, so we'll have a chance to ask questions as a group and discuss this as a group. But also, if there's any questions that you have for Iram, if there's any questions that you have for Chloe, let's have some questions now before we move on to the next ghost manifestation. You can put them into chat if you have any questions. Or even observations, or even if you just want to say, you know, what you enjoyed about it. Because I'm making notes here, and I'll also, towards the end of this ghost hostings, I'll kind of start some discussions. But if there's no other questions, then we'll move on. We'll move on from Chloe, and we'll ask Chloe, though, before we do, to select a number. Any number between 1 and 7, but don't collect, we've had 3 and we've had 5, so you need to select any number between 1 and 7.
7.
7?
Is 7 included?
7 is included, yes. It's nice that we have 7, because that's another number that has significance in some cultures. Lucky 7, G, that's you. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Iram. And now let's find out what G is going to manifest.
Hello. So the place I used to live near was, is this the seventh word?
I can hear you.
Oh no, sorry, I was reading Amir's comment. Anyway, the place I used to live in until like the other week has a bridge that is called Creepy Bridge. So I thought I'd do some research and see if there are any creepy ghost stories related to like the area I used to live in. And I found this ghost story that was written in 1910 about a ghost haunting a house at 200 Brockley Road. So I went on Google Maps and I went to have a look at the surrounding area. And the ghost, I should say, is the ghost of Percy Stevens, who had apparently lived here on Brockley Road before killing himself over the cliffs of Ramsgate in despair at his son's wayward behaviour. And so I went to Google Maps, and this is Brockley Road, and number 200 is further down, it's here. And then I had a look at the surrounding area, and lo and behold, there's some reviews that appeared whilst I was searching by the ghost of Percy Stevens. So this is a review of the Brockley Barge, which is a pub. And the ghost says, I used to come here to this inn with my son sometimes. We loved necking a pint or two. And then I found one at the George's Cafe. I wish this cafe had been around in 1990 when I lived in the neighbourhood. And the post office. So, which has disappeared. Where is it? I don't know, there was one at the post office, maybe it was a different link. Anyway, and then there was one that appeared at the station. The train station brings back sad memories of heading to Ramsgate. And then I also went to have a look at where is Creepy Bridge, which actually, I should say, it's actually recognised as Creepy Bridge on Google Maps. And there's lots of reviews. And lo and behold, this is my favourite place to haunt, except for my old house, of course. Would 100% recommend to other ghosts. Finally, Nunhead Cemetery, which is amazing. If you ever get a chance to go, I recommend also. There was one, but it's gone. Anyway, there was one that said that this was also a nice place to come and hang out. So that is what I found whilst researching Percy Stevens.
Brilliant. Percy Stevens. That's wonderful. That was really, what have you been watching or listening to rather or did you listen to the Enfield, not the Enfield, the Battersea Poltergeist on Radio 4? It was a fantastic kind of investigative kind of ghost hunting, but from a documentary point of view, where the research was looking into a known poltergeist case in Battersea, and it had that, it took you on, it brought all the facts and evidence together and painted a picture of these different locations, and you really sort of played with that kind of trope of the ghost investigator and the curious person looking into this story, but not necessarily presenting a clear, like, I believe or I don't believe, but, oh, this was curious and this is what I found out. I thought it was fantastic. I kept thinking, did you plant this ghost? Or is this a real ghost? Did you find them or did you make them through these?
I can't tell you that.
Well, you've made Percy, or someone has made Percy Stevens now, and Percy Stevens is out there. You've released him into
I have.
into broccoli, and I love.
What was the name of the podcast, by the way?
It's called The Battersea Poltergeist. It's great. Everyone have a listen to it. It's really good. It's really. I'm just going to try and put this in chat.
Thank you.
Hold on. I can't do things with my hands and speak at the same time. I don't know if anyone else has that. But that's me. So The Battersea Poltergeist is a Radio 4 dramatisation that looks at a poltergeist that manifested in the 50s and 60s in a house in Battersea where there was a teenage girl, and it's got a name like Percy. I mean, this is a really classic poltergeist ghost name, Percy Stevens. They've always got names like that. And there's the other one to look at, which is really terrifying. Whether it's a ghost or whether it's the psychological implications of what it is if it's not a ghost, is the Enfield poltergeist. I've made a whole series of work about that. But there are these, what you brought into it, these touches of kind of comic things that are there in ghost stories, because they have these classic things like, you know, this formula that a ghost formula for making the ghost, and we were all convinced it feels like you're going down a route, you know, a storytelling route that's part narrative, part story, part investigative, kind of documentary style. And the ghost fulfilled all of the kind of classic things that ghosts do. They don't seem to come and deliver anything profound and enlightening us to the meaning of life. They say very banal things like, I like having a cup of tea in this cafe, you know, that's kind of the typical thing a ghost will say. Or, you know, oh, you should change the colour of your kitchen. I went to spiritualist church as part of an exhibition I was part of, and I went to these kind of spiritualists church, fantastic, what would you call them? Like in services, and they have mediums, and the mediums channel people, and the people they channel don't say, you know, oh, we're, you know, everything's fantastic in the afterlife, and they don't say anything profound. They just say, oh, do you remember that shell box you bought in Margate? You know, still got it. And you think it's really these mundane things, and you brought that into that. It was brilliant. I loved it. And we still want to know if Percy Stevens has anyone else seen Percy Stevens? Have you interviewed anyone? I think that could be the next phase.
I haven't, but I'll try and find out.
I'm trying to remember the name. There's an experiment around like this, whether you found Percy Stevens and you then elaborated or you made him, whatever. It's just brilliant. But there's this case of a group of psychical researchers pretending that a ghost existed. So they made up a ghost. I've forgotten the name of the ghost. They made up this ghost, and then they were doing it as an experiment, and then something actually happened. So that really freaked them out. So they pretended there was a ghost. I don't know if Now might know this story of the psychical researchers that invented a ghost knowingly. They pretended there was this ghost because they wanted to test if people could be tricked and deceived in seances. And then this ghost actually did appear, and all sorts of scary things happened. And that's again another kind of classic ghost story trope that if you manifest a ghost playfully, watch out, because they can really come and get you. And it sort of comes through again, that whole thing within culture that we've been, that, you know, that you should respect the dead, which comes through, you know, sometimes if you have a belief system that's there already, but if you don't, it's still culturally, it's still very much embedded within culture. So maybe that's the next thing. Percy's going to come and haunt you. Percy Stevens, fantastic. Thank you, G. Has anyone got any questions for G about Percy Stevens or about her presentation? Well, before I go to the next bit, I'm just going to plug my power in. My power supply seems to have packed in on my computer. That's no good. So I need to charge up. Just bear with me one minute. And while I'm doing that, actually, have a think of a number. Okay, have a think of a number. I'm just going to plug my computer in.
Nahum or Cairo, I think that Kayla is waiting to be let into the room.
Thank you.
Oh. There we go. Okay, power back. That would be no good if the power suddenly went. Okay, so did you think of a number, G?
6.
6. Okay. Jessica? Hello, Jessica.
Hello. "40 days long past. I said goodbye, as tradition prescribes. And yet she's still here. With me, in my head, she says, art is really just about humanity. Just because you have it doesn't mean you have to use it. Pretty hurts, honey. I have her echoes. I have her shadows. I have representations of images taken when she was still alive. She is still here. She is still with me.
Jessica, that really was very emotional and very powerful. Thank you. I don't know if you want to talk more about, yeah, it was beautiful. I don't know if you want to talk more about that. Is obviously coming from a personal space. And it seems to me to talk about bereavement or grief or loss of a presence. And I wondered if that was a death of somebody close to you, or somebody leaving or being separated for some reason or other. You don't have to say, you can just say prefer not to say.
I lost the grandmother that I took my stage name from, who was deeply formative for me, probably a big part of why I'm here in this program right now. COVID took her, and it's one of those things where you're like, God, why?
Yeah. And you've taken her name and that is really wonderful. That's a fantastic thing to do. And that keeping her as well, that keeps, because we carry our ghosts, the ghosts of people we love with us forever. And the way that our ancestors have, whether they're relatives or they're friends, because not everyone has those family connections, but we all have. The voice in the shadows, Alan Garner calls it. Does anyone know Alan Garner's writing? I'm going to put this in the... Well, he might have been touched on by some of the other speakers as well, but Alan Garner, he has a really beautiful lecture that you can find. Let me type, because I can't type and speak at the same time. So Alan Garner, The Voice in the Shadows. Jessica is a lecture about the wise voice, the wise person, and there might be a relative or there might be a friend, and they're the person whose voice is in the shadows that informs you, and is a person that voice and that storytelling ability that they have, whatever way that might be, they're the person that gives you the wisdom and the strength in your life. And it's kind of goes back to, he talks about how we don't maybe have that culturally now, where you sit down in a group and there's a wise storyteller, but we still have those people. And everyone can think about that. If we think about that now, probably you have somebody who you can think of when you think, yeah, that person touched me in some way, which directed me into a direction within my own life. And they had some kind of wisdom that was more than just wise words, it was a sense of an energy that was enabled you to understand yourself and where you might want to go more. And you carry that with you, and you carry that thing that they transfer to you with you, whether it's through thoughts or if you believe that it's spirit, whichever way it is, it still works in the same way. So, and I think that she was there in your words. There was a feeling of you bringing her to to us as well. So that's really fantastic. And I'd love to know a bit more about your performance, Jessica.
What do you?
You said your name that you perform with, that you.
Oh yeah. I took her nickname and used it to do porn for about a decade and a half. And eventually I had to tell her, and she said, "Oh, so you're a nudie girl. I hope no one gets us confused and tries to put my feet behind my head because I don't bend that way anymore." And I was like, wow, grandma is so supportive.
Amazing. And what's the name?
Stojadinovic.
Brilliant. Oh, that's wonderful. Fantastic. Grannies are great. They're the wise women. They're amazing.
Thank you so much for the Alan Garner reference. I'm gonna have a great time reading that.
It's I'm trying to remember the name of, I think the book is called The Voice in the Shadows. Do a quick Google search for Alan Garner, The Voice of the Shadows, but it's an anthology of his lectures, and they do kind of relate very much to things that other people and other speakers and me and myself have touched on this course. And he's he's an incredible as well person to read about, and his ideas about storytelling.
Isn't it The Voice That Thunders?
The Voice That Thunders. Yes, no, that's it. The Voice That Thunders. I don't know. Is it still in print? I've got a really old copy that actually was given to me by my mum, talking about matriarchal wisdom. So she gave me the Voice That Thunders. It's a fantastic book on narrative and storytelling. Okay, so let's continue this story. This is a beautiful story emerging today. Jessica, pick a number.
2.
2, did you say? Number 2 is Amir. Hello, Amir.
Hello. So I'm going to share with you a link. YouTube. Also,
so Amir, shall we watch this and mute ourselves and watch it and then come back? Whoa, that was very, has everyone finished? Yeah, that's that was you, wasn't it? That was your group of your fellow researchers.
Exactly. Also, I sent a picture in the group, if you can see. It's the like setting of my desk.
Ah, oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
I have
fantastic.
everybody.
Oh, that is really wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where I'm sitting right now.
everyone looking at that. Should we just share? Do you want to share that on the screen so we can all see? Can you do a screen share?
I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can share the screen. So yeah, this is the picture. Yeah, can you see? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And everyone in the frame,
So it's
photographs, you know.
yeah, exactly. Everyone is in the frame. Yeah. So I just like the video is how people move out of the frame.
I love the little the because everyone was like a kind of soul or spirit, but it also the aesthetic with the black and white. It was very much like spirit photography too. So it kind of had that reference to early photography where the photographer would photograph somebody and then in the background would be a little head of the dead relative sort of in a cloud of ectoplasm. Have you seen those photographs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
had that aesthetic to it,
Yeah.
but it still was very much the mobile phone shape, you know, it was a digital ghost. And I really love that. I think that digital ghosts are very difficult because people tend always to refer to the analog ghost, even when they're creating digital ghosts, and that your film had a digital feeling to it, and that alienated feeling, like, you know, it's strange. We feel kind of connected here, but at the same time, we're really apart. You know, we only see the certain part, and everyone's kind of moving. You have this sort of, you know, particularly me because I'm really fidgety, but everyone's kind of like moving in their spaces.
Exactly.
And you made this lovely floating sense that everyone was coming out through the fluidium. The universal
The
fluid.
fluidity of water is like what I'm working with, so I try to have it.
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this does feed into everyone's projects. That's the idea, is it's kind of a starting point to get you going for the rest of the course. And I hope I'm allowed to come back and see the final presentations when you do those.
Yeah.
And that would be wonderful. Has anyone got any questions for Jessica or for Amir? Or any comments? Who was the person? There was one face, Amir, that was floating around a lot. Was who was that?
I think it was Celeste. The one who was among the others.
She made a very good ghost.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was wonderful. I hope we can keep. Will you be able to share these links somewhere? Maybe so everyone can enjoy them. All the different things that you've made for the ghost hostings. It would be great to think of some way to bring them all together as a kind of, you know, thing in itself, because they are really wonderful. Enjoying this so much on this rainy afternoon here in my studio. It's fabulous. Okay, we have 2 more people, I think that's right. And I know I only said there's only 7 numbers. So
4, I think 4 is
God,
remaining.
I think there's 2 more people left, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're now going to have a number 8. So
4.
and we've got number 4. We've got 3 more people, haven't we? We've got 3. Okay, so you've picked number 4, Amir. Is that right? Because you heard 4. Okay, 4 is Celeste. And Celeste, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to send a link as well, and so ask the same if you wouldn't mind muting yourself. Yeah, I'm sharing a link so it doesn't butcher the score that I asked a friend to write. I want to do it justice.
Beautiful music. It was wonderful. Is that you?
No, that was my partner's sister. She's a musician and I'm with them at the moment. So I asked if she could write me a 2-minute score. And I mean, I'm Catholic, so I was like, okay, I'm going to interpret that as the Holy Ghost. So something churchy, respectful but creepy. And yeah, she kind of nailed the vibe that I wanted.
Was that a church that you go to? Is that at your local church?
Yeah, it is. So I actually went out today. I'm in Amsterdam and I went out today to go and get footage here, but the church ended up being closed. So I used some old footage of my one back home.
It's interesting because, because you know, churches, places of worship have been closed for a long time, and I guess the services have happened like this via Zoom, and that experience of the buildings, because the built, you know, the Catholic Church and the whole of the Christian sort of tradition of church building is to create this place which feels spiritual, you know, which does invoke those kinds of feelings, of feeling, I guess, smaller as a person, and that you're in the presence of something bigger than you. And I was, because it made me think, I was thinking, is this a funeral service, or is it about presence of something, a spirit, you know, a hope? And the title, of course, you think, yes, this is about spirituality and a feeling of a presence, but there could also be the absence in the sense of loss, or that it could be a funeral. I didn't find it spooky. That doesn't matter. That's not a criticism, because you were saying it could be spooky. I don't think so. I think it had a haunting in a sense of, it could be grief, represent grief, or mourning at a funeral, but also that kind of, it could represent spirituality. So I saw something in that, you know, the something I saw in it, that the baby may be different to your intentions, but that it could be the way that people who have a religious belief and going to a church or a place of worship has been disrupted by COVID. And you know, we're absent from those spaces. Has anyone got any questions or comments? I think we've got some. Yeah, about the music was amazing, and the image going with it. The as well, having your screen in that long shape, so we get the gothic feeling, the black and white, and the gothic aesthetic. You've got her SoundCloud there. Okay, thank you. And music being able to lift our spirits, or, you know, induce a kind of feeling of the spiritual in us. So it was a wonderful collaboration. Thank you, Celeste. Okay, we have time for our final 2 ghosts, and we need you, Celeste, to pick 1 or 8.
1.
Number 1 is Karen.
8 then.
David? Because is Karen not participating? No, okay. That's how I got too many, but David. Okay, David.
Hello. So this is David's ghost. He wrote some words about ghosting to survive and hiding behind his art. So I please do not share these words online. Remove. I want the following words to disappear. Here they go. These words are not yours. They belong to the collective consciousness, and they exist with the sole purpose to honor our soul agreement. I do not hate you, nor I love you. Rudeness is contagious, and it bores me to death. Stop throwing down drowning kicks and wasting words into thin digital air. The battle is within. Can you see? May you dance and break bread in harmony with your demons. Every day, reaching absolutely neutrality, may you disappear in peace. I don't want to comment on these words. I rather want to talk about, I want to share something else. This is a piece of art, a video I made with water for a musician I collaborate with. And I never showed it publicly because the way it uploaded online was not the way it intended. So I think this is the perfect time to just look at some water, abstract water. You can skip to any time. It's very different through the entire.
David, that's wonderful. I want to watch the whole thing. I think someone's just saying that in the chat too. Really
I will upload the original version, the nice quality version. Just a parenthesis. Here in Mexico, we believe that you shouldn't have babies sleeping around running water like rivers or waterfalls, because the nymphs, the fairies of the water may take their soul. So you wake them up. If you come close to a river, you will wake up your child or make sure that they are.
So, oh wow! And what was it? Your mask was incredible. Your ghost with all the butterflies. These butterflies, aren't they? It's beautiful.
Yes, it's this is how butterflies survive the winter, like all put together.
That's really wonderful. So they just, the heat from their bodies, is that right? Just and yet they make one creature together. But
and if one of them falls, they all fall and they all like freeze to death. So they have to remain together.
But it really spoke of kind of animism and kind of the spirit in everything and in nature. And then as human beings, how we try to cross that void with the other, with the natural world, by embodying it, by making kind of costume and thinking about the spirit of those animals, transforming ourselves into their shape. And that was really wonderful in your costume. And they're such a fragile thing. And I think it was very brave, because it kind of, the fragility of the butterfly as well, in of what you were speaking about, particularly on Wednesday, and what you were talking about with your performance too. The vulnerability, but the strength. as well, of all the butterflies being together. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you, David. Thank you, all of you. What a really beautiful ghost hostings. It's actually fitted into the hour exactly. And we've got Chloe had to leave. So I think we should just finish this today. We're just saying it'd be lovely if somehow we can have record of this, but David, you don't want your bit of performance made public, do you? So everyone be really respectful.
The performance can stay, just remove the poem. That will be part of the ghosting.
Okay, just no poem. Okay. Okay, we'll do that. And you can all, if you want to post anything onto Instagram, let me put this. I think some people are following you already. So that's me on Instagram. And if I don't follow you, just send me a message to remind me who you are. And I like being haunted. So you can nag me and you can keep coming at me and saying, woo, I'm here, you know, that's how ghosts get heard. So, you know, don't be a ghost that nobody knows about going, you know, I'm trying to be heard and no one can hear me. So, yeah, to keep in touch with me. Now, can I come and see their final projects when they're finished, completed the course? Will I be
Absolutely.
able to?
Yes, absolutely. I'll send you the invite for that.
Yeah. And if anyone's in London, I curated an exhibition that opened in July, this 8th, 9th and 10th. It's got 3 private views because of COVID. Come along, I'll be there. So you'll be very welcome. It's called Can We Ever Know the Meaning of These Objects? And if you're not in the UK, then you'll be able to see pictures on Instagram. And please I'd love to follow what you're doing. And good luck with the rest of this course. Thank you, ghosts. Beautiful ghosts.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you. Oh, it's wonderful.
Great to have you here. Thank you.
Really wonderful. And from Erin, our first ghost as well. We just mention her name again because she must return as the first ghost. She's back. Always say goodbye to all of our ghosts. G, Amir, Celeste, Jessica, Ruth, David, Kyla, Irim. No, Karen. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.